I had to start asking myself a question: what is it that's driving me? And it's actually possible for fear to be what's driving us. Fear of getting hurt, fear of having our hearts broken, fear of letting our parents down, fear of our kids getting hurt and we can't let go of them, fear of never being good enough for God, fear of any number of things. Is it fear that's driving you? Because fear robs us of power. It robs us of the ability to love God and to love others around us. And it also robs us of the ability to be able to think and make decisions with a sound mind. There's no thief like fear. Fear literally alters the way that we do the essentials of life. We're told in 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7 that God has not given us a spirit of fear. He's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So if God hasn't given us a spirit of fear and doesn't want us to have that type of experience, the question then is, what's the solution? Well, I believe we have an answer found in 1 John chapter 4. It says, and we have known and believe the love that God has for us. Not just an intellectual knowledge, but we have an experiential knowledge of the love of Jesus for me personally, the love of God the Father for me personally, and that we believe that that's true. That we know and believe the love God has for us, because God is love, and he who abides in love abides in God and God in him. One of the reasons why we're wrestling with fear is the love of God has not fully permeated and set us free. But when you encounter the perfect love of God, it casts the fear out of your experience and changes your life. So we need to know and believe the love that God has for us, and we need to be made perfect in that love. We need his perfect love to cast out our fear, and this will lead us to love him because he first loved us. Some of us wrestle with loving God because we don't actually believe that he loves us. Right? We can roll with Jesus because Jesus did something, I can see that. But the Father is just kind of a mystery to some of us. And some of us may even have this view that's mentioned in Steps to Christ, that we believe that Jesus came to convince the Father to love us. Romans chapter 5 and verse 8 says that God showed his own love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So Jesus didn't come to convince the Father to love us. It's because the Father loved us that he sent Jesus. We will love him when we come to understand his love for us, and that love will cast out all of our fear. Fear is not to be the motivator that we're to use to reach people. Love is the only true and pure power that should motivate us in our experience and in our decision making. And the only way to find that love is to first encounter God's love for us. What we desperately need is a life course altering encounter with God's perfectly selfless love for us. I've come to understand that if Satan can't deceive you, he'll discourage you. And if he gets you to give up hope, he still wins. Some of us have died. We're still in the church books, but we're dead inside. We're just here, in a spiritual vegetative state. The love of God can change all of this, but are we willing to lay down the idol of fear in our experience this evening? That's the question.